moist gullies where it had been hiding for 40 or 50 or 60 years, into the backyards, scratching around. I published a book a couple of years ago and devoted an entire chapter to the Australian brush turkey, and the name of the chapter is Turkish Delight. I actually love the bird because they're one of those species that aren't afraid of human beings, because once they reach adulthood, once the brush turkey has survived that chance of 1 in 200 survival in the first 3 or 4 months, once it gets there, it doesn't have any enemies. Any real enemies, but those that it does have, it knows it can escape easily. You ever seen them run? If they need a little bit of extra afterburner boost, they flap their wings a couple of times in their tail and they just disappear. So they can handle predation easily. They're unafraid once they're adults. If you look at it from a wildlife recovery, a species recovery, it is one of Australia's greatest success stories. This bird is now found throughout the capital of Queensland, in Brisbane. It is now found everywhere it was in pre-European Australia in 1824. It's back, and we did it, and we should be congratulated for doing it.
Yes, and they're very good at destroying my herb garden. Now, in 1996, builders in the Shandong province of China discovered hundreds of statues of Buddha that had been buried in the soil for over 800 years. Hailed as one of the most significant archaeological discoveries of the 20th century, their burial remains a mystery. Well, 35 of the best preserved and most exquisite sculptures were recently exhibited at the Art Gallery of New South Wales.
You look at those figures and it's hard to think that they were made, 1,400 years ago.
I'm always a sucker for a good Buddhist figure, okay? But these figures in particular are truly special.
Now, not that I'd recommend it, but if you go digging in a sports field anywhere in Australia, you're not too likely to find anything of archaeological significance. But in China, now that's another story.
Well, I've always said that going gardening in China is a very rewarding exercise. You go out to dig up a cabbage and you find a bronze.
The Buddhas were unearthed in 1996 in Shandong province, but perhaps the most famous accidental find was west of there, the terracotta warriors, discovered in 1974, although both were buried for very different reasons.
The terracotta warriors were made to bury to protect an emperor. These were made as devotional objects to lift the spirits and to engage with the metaphysical world.
The sports field where the statues were found was conveniently located next door to a local museum.
And if you go to the Qingzhou Museum now, there's this huge room with the greatest jigsaw puzzle in the world, with thousands of bits of Buddhist sculptures all waiting to be put back together again.
All the works were destructed in purpose, and some were beheaded. And after about 3-4 years conservation work, museum staff from that municipal museum were able to put together about 100 to 200 works.
In the Lost Buddhas exhibition, there are 35 statues, and the pit from where they came from contained up to 400, and these ones are in incredible condition. And I'll tell you what, in this room, it is so peaceful.
I think the expression on all of their faces is one of deeply felt serenity, and that's really weird because they're just limestone.
Buddhist monk Bhante Tejadamo is fascinated by the range of statues in the exhibition and their unique expressions.
These ones have quite cheeky, amused looks, happy looks, and then we go from this through to some that are so serene that you can't actually, in a way, you can't engage with them. You can only stand in front of them and wonder what's going on.
All of the statues, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, have retained some kind of surface detail, from designs and motifs to evidence of gilded faces and painted robes.
We're only dealing with 3 decades, and yet in terms of the evolution of artistic style and aesthetic, it's actually quite a journey. From the very iconographic ones there to these ones here, which are almost like sort of sensual mannequins, aren't they? The Buddha always has some distinguishing marks, and they are emblems of his power and authority, etc. For example, in this one you can